Everyone, Justine here, the Twilight Stamper. Today we're going to be creating a card using So Suzy Stamps, and it's going to be an Easter shaker card. I've created quite a few shaker cards in the past, and I wanted to show you another way of using them. I took my A and B plate, and I put a piece of 80-pound solar white Neenah cardstock. It's measured at 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to place this piece of the Gumball die onto the center and stick it down with washi tape. I'm going to make sure that it's in the center and equal on both sides. I'm going to add my C plate and send it through the machine, and when I cut it, this piece is going to cut out here. Now there are many pieces to this Gumball machine so that you can create really different layers and colors. It's a really cool die cut, and I got it in the Shake It Up bundle from Simon Says Stamp a little while ago, back in December 2014. Now these are the parts that come with the Gumball. You have that inside piece that cuts out all the little shapes, and then a few others to go with it. In order to create the frame to go around your piece that you cut out on the card front, you're going to take this piece here that I have in my hand, the pink one, you're going to take and cut out this and this all together. And the reason why you do that is the piece that you can see on the inside, that little frame is going to cut out. And that's going to fit perfectly around the edge. I didn't want the background to cut out for this because I wanted to stamp on the inside, so I didn't want any sort of solid color. So after I pieced that down and pasted it perfectly on my frame, I added some 3D tape to the base of the Gumball machine, and this is also done in the same pink paper. I attached that just slightly overlapping the frame, like so. I personally found it easier to work with tweezers using these small shapes. I really like working with tweezers quite often because it gives me more control. So I'm going to add this bottom part to the Gumball machine. This is a silver paper that I had gotten. I think it was called silver foil paper from Stampin' Up! From their Christmas catalog. I'm not sure if they still have it, but it's a really cool paper because it's shiny, almost like a matte shiny though, and I really like the fact that it's not glittery. I then added this glittery piece of pink to the cardstock. Sorry, not the cardstock, but to the actual Gumball machine. And I laid it on top of the foil sheet. The thing about the foil sheets is they kind of tend to slide a little bit when you're trying to glue something on top, so you have to be careful with that, and you'll see what I mean when I glue the next piece, not this one here, but the following one. So again, I added another piece to the Gumball machine using the silver. And you can see that one piece of the die cut that I used before that had all the shapes on the inside. I cut that out using a couple of different colors, both the silver and the pink glitter. And I also did it in white, even though I didn't end up using those shapes on here. So here you can see how kind of slippery this paper can be when you try to push it down. I kind of had a little bit of an accident there when I tried to fix the glue. And you just have to make sure that you let that dry before touching it. But overall, it's one of my really favorite papers to use, and they look really pretty when you're doing things like snowflakes. I'm just going to assemble the last couple of pieces here. I'm going to take the top of the Gumball machine, which is this really small semicircle piece, and we're going to glue that onto the top, and then glue on the final top middle piece, and then we're finished putting together the Gumball machine on the front of the card. This piece here is just going to go onto just slightly underneath that piece we just glued down. You just want to make sure that's sticking in the middle. Again, this isn't the best for sticking down. I'm not quite sure why it's not reacting too well with my glue, but once it dries, it does react. It does stay just fine. So I'm just going to take this and put it off to the side. It's a very pretty feminine and more Easter colors than the traditional sort of red and silver Gumball machine, and that's what I was going for on this look. To make the card base, I'm using 110-pound solar white Neenah cardstock, and I measured this at 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch card, so that's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then scored at 5.5 inches. And we're going to be creating the actual cutout. So I just took a pencil and I traced the lines in the Gumball machine to know where that would be. So I placed this directly in the center where I'm going to put it later, and this is how I'm going to know where to put my foam tape. I kind of have this really amusing habit of never being able to make a shaker card correctly. I always forget a certain step. Now, I wanted to originally stamp my bunny before putting down my foam tape. I was able to fix it later with no issues, but just in case you're remaking this card and not watching ahead, make sure you stamp an image on the inside of your Gumball machine if you want an image to show. So you want to make sure you place those really close together so that no beads or sequins are going to fall out on you. You want to place it tightly around that pencil mark, but on the outside of it, so that you don't see it through the Gumball machine. I added some foam tape to my card front because I didn't want it to sag on the side and just be 3D in that one spot where we put it on our card base, and I thought that would be easier. Alright, so now we're going to put down the transparency sheet. So I'm just gluing, this is the back of my card front, I'm just gluing around that and sticking on the plastic. As I mentioned before, I wanted to do the bunny stamp on the inside of the card and forgot. So if I just lifted up the foam, my foam allows me to kind of reposition it. It wasn't a big deal, and I stamped the bunny on there. I did forget to record that part, however, so now you just see that bunny that magically appeared. I'm magic like that. And if you're using a thinner foam tape, you might even be able to stamp that if it fits on the inside of the foam because So Suzy stamps are cling stamps, so they're a little bit thicker than clear stamps. So you might be okay to do that as well. I seem to do just fine. So I'm just coloring these with a couple of Copic markers. I'm using N0, R21, I believe, and Y11. And then I went in with a BV00 or 000, not sure which one, and colored the egg. I'm just going to put you in fast motion so you're not sitting here forever watching me color. Okay, now that I finished coloring my rabbit and you saw my super awesome professional coloring skills, which I didn't do any shading because I'm awesome like that, I used some beads that I'd previously dumped in my card before I realized I didn't stamp the bunny. And I'm just using green, yellow, clear, white, and pink, sort of just the standard Easter pale colors that you would use. I'm just going to throw in a couple of sequins here to just give it a little bit of extra texture. And it may look like there's a lot in the shaker card right now, but it should be fine. You never have too much shaka in your shaker card. Alright, so I'm just going to remove these pieces off my 3D foam tape. As much as I love 3M and I love the Big Mama roll from Simon Says Stamp, this stuff here from Close to My Heart is my favorite, mainly because it's fake nail friendly and it's easy to peel off. And second of all, it's easy to peel off and it's a perfect thickness, I find. I find some of the other ones too thin and then my beads aren't able to move around and that's no fun. And anyway, I just really love this 3D foam tape from Close to My Heart. If you're from Canada and are interested in getting some, just send me over a message. Alright, so I'm just going to stick on my card base now. You might want to erase the eraser marks if that ends up becoming an issue for you. And you can see here my little bunny that pokes out of my Easter card, which I think is super, super cute. The very last thing I wanted to do was stamp a little bit of a sentiment on the inside of the card since there was definitely not one on the front of the card. And I just used this really cute Easter Wishes stamp set from So Suzy Stamps, which I think is a really cool font and I love it. For any of these products that you might be interested, I have a supply list below, and if you click on my blog and look at the supply list, you can click on direct links to it. Here you have the opportunity to subscribe to my channel and also watch 2 other shaker card tutorials that you might be interested in, one birthday and one for Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day.